I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. The air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. And we sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman, because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this very special Friday night episode of the Political Spotlight. I am your host, Kristopher H. Bilbrey. We are here. This is normally a night off for us, but we have a lot to talk to you all about tonight. Of course, we are going to be joined here in just one moment by our very special contributing correspondent, Katherine Callahan. Dr. Callahan from Madison County. She'll be here, and we're going to be talking about everything going on in Madison County. One of the first episodes, maybe the first episode that we ever had Katherine on the show. We called it The Madness in Madison County, something along those lines. And that was way back, I think, early on in the beginning of last year. And so since it's the first of the year in 2025, and since everything's kind of up in the air, we've got some new people coming to play in 2025. We've got some new faces that are going to be joining the game. We've got some old faces that are going to be moved around to some new positions. We figured it would be a good thing to have Katherine back on the show and kind of start from scratch, look at what we're playing with, everything that's been going on in the last couple of weeks. You know, always around the end of the year and the beginning of the year, it's kind of like a reset. But in local politics, it's like that. That's not really what goes on. They spend all of that time doing a bunch of craziness while everybody's off doing the holiday thing. And so we're going to be talking about all of that and doing everything there. I do want to let you know, I apologize for the gremlins. As long as the audio is good, that's what matters. The video is a little wonky, but I think we're going to get that taken care of. I do want to let everybody know right now that we have a now, hold on, not this. Jesus, not this thing. I do want to let everybody know first and foremost that we do have, this is a 1 and 2 part episode. So if you're here and you're watching this episode, you're going to want to watch tomorrow night too. We did not think that we would have enough time, or it would take too much time to get everything in tonight. So tonight is episode 366. It's part 1. You see, it's The Madness in Madison County continues, the 2025 edition, part 1. And that's the 366 in blue. And then tomorrow night, Saturday night, also a special episode, will be part 2, and that's in red, 367. So you'll want to tune in for both of these. We will be talking about all things Madison County. Now, we also want to say a very special happy birthday to the man, the myth, the legend, the political spotlight ombudsman, Alva. Happy birthday, Alva. Alva, the pulling up the tactical support from the Southern Command all the way down in Louisiana. The only person that knows more about Muncie or Madison County, Delaware County, Anderson, Newcastle. He knows more about East Central Indiana than anyone else combined. It's amazing. And here the dude lives in Tonka, Louisiana. I think is that the French pronunciation? I said that right? Did I get that right? So happy birthday, Alva. Everyone say happy birthday to Alva. Now, really quickly, one last thing before we bring Katherine on, and this is very important, and I know that this is not really going to matter to anybody in the Madison County area, but I do want to put this out, and then we will talk about this later into next week. But I do have to put this out. This is some very important breaking news, and I do want to get this out. Ladies and gentlemen, what we're looking at right here is the My Case criminal case history for a man called Joshua James Kimbrell. And I don't know if Lenny is here. Lenny was actually asking about this a couple nights ago, and I told him, it's been a cluster. I don't know what's happening, but it's scheduled for jury trial. It was scheduled for the 22nd, 23rd, and 24th of January. But then a couple, 2 or 3 weeks before that, the defense attorney said, well, I can't be here on the 22nd, which was a load of crap because 2 continuances ago, the judge told everybody involved, all parties, there will not be another continuance. If you can't be here, we're going ahead without you. And then the defense put in a continuance. And I expected for the judge to slam them down because it was already continuance 2 or 3 at that point. But the judge didn't. And the judge allowed the defense to have the continuance. And he told them at that point, bring your calendar to the court. We're going to get this hashed out. And we are going to put this as a priority. There will not be another continuance. So they did that, and they set the dates for January 22nd, which is a Wednesday, the 23rd, which is a Thursday, and the 24th, which is a Friday. They did it. And then 3 weeks ago, the attorney said, I can't make it on the 22nd. And the judge said, well, here's what we'll do, which I didn't like this. He said, we'll go ahead and we'll cancel the 22nd. And we'll just go long on the 23rd and 24th. We'll make it a 2-day trial, and we'll be here until it's over. And that's it. And then they had their last hearing right before. Now, keep in mind, Joshua Kimbrell is charged with a couple serious sexual felonies. Child molesting, where a defendant is at least 21 years of age. Child molesting, where a child is under 14. Felony 1, a couple felony 3s. Right here it shows that there are only 3 charges. I contacted the prosecutor's office and they said that there are 6 charges. I'll go by what they say. Criminal case history says there's 3. They say there's 6. It is what it is. We'll find out when this thing starts. So they were slated for trial to begin on the 23rd of this month. And, you can bet my butt's going to be right there in the seat. And so I've been monitoring what's been going on. And you can see here, we're here. There was some final pretrial on the 19th of December. Okay. And on the 19th, the entry into this said special judge Body appear, and Judge Body, Brian Body, is he's a special judge out of Blackford County. Okay, so he's going to be hearing this case in Randolph County. It's a special judge situation. And it says right here, and we went over this, that the court will conduct the trial on the 23rd and the 24th from 8:30 to 5 or 6 rather than 4. Jurors should be aware of the extended hours. Counsel for the defendant has 2 weeks into which consider and or file a plea agreement or request a continuance if needed. Now, for those of you that have been watching this, I said I didn't like that word in there because they said last time, no more continuances. Now, again, that was the second time they had said that, so I wasn't really holding my breath. And I made the comment that I did not feel confident that this was going to go in January on the 23rd and 24th. I just did not feel confident, no matter what the judge said, because of their actions. And I made the statement that I was really pissed off about this because I knew that if they continued it at the end of January, that we would not get into court until sometime in April or beyond. And everybody's like, no, that's too egregious. That's crazy. There's no way. There's no way. Well, then Joshua Kimbrell filed 1 day late. He filed a motion to continue. Okay, he was 1 day late. And we were waiting. And unfortunately, on today's date, Friday, January 10th, 2025, Blackford County judge, special judge in Randolph County for this case, he ordered the motion for continuance. Court grants defendant's motion for continuance of jury trial. Trial is reset for 3 days on May 7th, 8th, and 9th, 2025 at 8:30 a.m. I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, my blood is boiling. I don't understand what's going on. I have put in a record request for the continuance to find out what exactly the reasoning is. In my opinion, it's complete cowardice. Old boy turned himself in. He admitted to everything. Josh is just trying to look for every out and every loophole he can. It's disgusting. They should throw the book at him. I am pissed off at this weak judge. I think that the judge is weak. I think that the prosecutor is weak. This would not happen in Delaware County. I know Delaware County has a lot of continuances, but when you have a situation where the judge says, we are not going to continue this again, when they make that statement, that reigns supreme. The fact that he continues to allow this and continues to allow Sam Beasley, that little squirrel, and his client, Josh Kimbrell, to continue to run the show is absolutely disgusting. I have a lot more to say about this. We'll talk about this next week, but everybody should be pissed off. I am extremely upset by this. I have not had a chance to talk to the victims. I normally keep up with the victims and find out what's going on. I have not had a chance. I don't even know if the victims know about this yet. And that's really, really gross. So I wanted to get this breaking news out there so people would know. Now from there, we will go on to the rest of the show, and we will bring up our very special favorite correspondent from Madison County, Dr. Katherine Callahan. Wakey, wakey.
Oh, yeah. I was writing to Alva. I was wishing him a happy birthday. So I went over to the YouTube page. Listen, I just got back from Mexico. I want everybody to know.
My arm's tire.
Okay. I was in Mexico. I want everybody to know. And I was with my kids. And as I'm running around in Mexico, they were wanting me to buy stuff from them. And we went all over Mexico. Like I went to Yucatan. I went to Ceniza. I went everywhere. Okay. Mm-hmm. I just want you to know that while I was all with all my tour guides and I was haggling with people, I was like, yeah, sure. I'll buy your stuff if you'll share my wanted page on your Facebook page. And you know, Mexico doesn't like pedophilers very much.
No.
And they were all very willing to share my most wanted page. So I just want everybody to know that even though you guys thought I was just sipping margaritas at the pool, that nope, I was working it.
You look like you got a tan there.
I got some color. I did. So that Bree's tardy. She had to eat, and I said,
Yeah.
well, we're not going to see you feeding your
Well, yeah, you
face,
can eat in front of the camera.
right?
We
I'm
will not
excited.
see you.
Cheryl's here tonight. Jamie Lynn's here tonight. It's been very busy. I was laying there half asleep when I got the exciting news that the U.S. Marshal had finally posted about Sumner. I was just, and then right when that hit, then it all hit with the corruption of Russ, and it was just one thing after a lot. Yes, it is a lot of pesos, and let me tell you something. Those people in Mexico, they are excited to find Steve Sumner's. But I explained to them we need him alive, and they were like fine with that.
You said that to me, and I was like, look, I mean, the only way I would ever do harm to him if he was trying to harm me, myself, or someone else in my presence, but I don't care how they bring him in.
Yeah. And Steve, if you're watching, I would highly encourage you to mark down and write everything down about all the corrupt elected officials here, so that if they try to kill you, you can at least mail that letter so I can have that to incriminate them.
Yeah, dude,
and you can mail it right to my office at Right Family Practice. You can find me on social media. You just send it there to 299 East Pendleton Avenue, box 547. That's zip code 46051. And you just send me that letter that incriminates all of them before you try to off yourself or something. I just want you to know. So always thinking about others there, Steve, instead of yourself. So
he was somebody that's really, really, really out there,
Yeah. So, now I know that we talked a little bit earlier, and we were going to go down one rabbit hole. And then I got to thinking, there's a different rabbit hole I want to go down first. And so the rabbit hole I want to go down first is I want to call out Dave Sargent. I want to speak about Dave Sargent tonight.
Okay.
And I just put it in Messenger, and I want to actually read something that Dave Sargent wrote.
David. Okay. All right. Mr. David Sargent.
And so he took a lot of time. Now, I want people to understand that Dave Sargent worked the polls for us when we ran for coroner. And he did that out of the goodness and the kindness of his heart, because he believed in the mission of having medical providers in a coroner's office. And the reason why I want to start with this now, and I suddenly switched gears, is because a lot of people are asking why I even got involved in this. And I got involved in this because I realized that we have no respect in Madison County for our deceased loved ones. And part of our job is to be advocates for people who cannot speak. Not only those who have passed, but those like Jamie Lynn that need a voice, that people have turn their backs on her. But that's really what all of us on this show have come here. And that's kind of our purpose, is to help other people. Rebecca Crooms does an amazing job speaking for the people and educating the people. Bree does it. Nicole does it. Jamie does it. We all are starting to find that. Sean does it. Laureen does it. And this is what we're really here in our mission. So if you've watched me since we started in the coroner's office, we would go to the podium and I would ask for money. We had about $200,000 for our budget. And what they would do is they would scream, no, you don't need money for your budget. You guys are the most expensive coroner's office to date. You guys are outrageous, the money that you asked for. Well, let's fast forward 4 years. Had Troy actually completed his term, it would have, the people would have understood. But I'm actually glad it has happened the way it has. So the first picture that I want to bring up is actually the budget that was asked for this year. I don't know if Kate can see that, and she can bring that up, and she can turn that. And this was something that that Dave Sargent did. Now, all this credit goes to Dave Sargent. He doesn't even have an idea that we're speaking of this. This is the budget. And if we get rid of that banner down at the bottom this year, Adam Matson, the chosen one that caucused in, asked for close to $600,000 on this budget, is from what I'm gathering, right?
Okay.
Now, we were around 400,000. I kept telling them we're going to get busier. We're going to need more money. Now, I don't blame Adam. I think Adam did this money it's needed. Don't get me wrong. They ended up giving him 425,000, I think is what they ended up giving him, okay, for the 2024 budget. Does everybody know that that is exactly what we asked for? This is what's so amazing, but yet I was screamed at, thrown out of meetings, told to sit down, gavelled, and said I was the most expensive coroner to date. I got news for you people. We've said, and I'm going to tell this story. This was one of the hardest stories, and even when I talked to other coroners, they didn't understand this. I was called out to a case of an 18-year-old who, when I arrived, it was pretty apparent that this was a drug overdose. Now, this is just from me putting the pieces together. This is from me looking at the whole room and trying to make an understanding. As I stood in that room, there was a cap and gown on the door. And I looked at that cap and gown. It was the same cap and gown color that I would have worn in my graduation when I went to Lawrence North. I then looked at this child who was face down in this bed. And she was 18. And it was the same year my oldest daughter was graduating from high school. So we went through the whole process. And then I got a call from the biological mother. And she begged me to do an autopsy. And we talked for a couple hours. So anybody who thinks you just go to a scene and it's done and over with, it's far from that.
Yeah, right.
And I explained to her that I have to be a responsible citizen to the taxpayers of Madison County. And finally, she and I agreed. And I said, if I'm wrong and you pay for the autopsy out of your own pocket, I will pay you myself out of my own pocket for that autopsy. The autopsy, a personal one, is about $3,000.
Yeah.
Because they were going to cremate their loved one. So she said, this is fair. So she did it. Now, the other coroners from other counties, when I was expressing this story, because, we were under such fire by these commissioners and these council people, they said, we would have just done it. We wouldn't have cared.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm really trying to do the right thing. I'm really not trying to just run taxpayer dollars up. Well, about 6 weeks went by and I got the toxicology report, and sure enough, it was positive, right? So I had to call the mother, and the mother said, I just want to thank you for taking all the time you did with me. Now, in this time, these 6 weeks, we had talked quite a bit. I mean, we were going back and forth. We were talking, and she said, you have always taken all my calls. You've been kind. You've been respectful. And I understand that you had a responsibility to the taxpayers. And so, here we are, that I got news for everybody. While you do have some experienced coroners in the department right now, you don't have anybody medical that you can go to as a resource and say, hey, what about this? Hey, what about that? And that's where it gets expensive. And that's where cases get missed. And that's where murderers are out on the streets. I've had 4 or 5 people reach out to me in the last 6 months that their loved one they believe was murdered. But nothing is happening. Nobody's getting charged. And so what they explained to me, I'm like, that's really the coroner's responsibility to start making that and hammering that down to the prosecutor and saying, hey, listen, we got a problem here. So I just kind of wanted to show that to you, but I want to also show you this letter of Dave Sargent, because this really is for people. Now, people like Alva, people who've been involved with this, they already get it. But this was a great testimony of Dave Sargent being green, and now where he has come from watching this. So in some ways, Dave Sargent got involved because his candidate was being ousted for no reason. I mean, we were being attacked for doing the right thing.
Right.
And there's a lot of people who began to watch just because of this. I mean, this is really how I met like Shelly. This is how I met Cheryl. This is how, because they were like watching my live feeds going, don't gavel her anymore. You guys just keep, and they're like screaming at the TV. So, you
want to put this letter up?
I do. And if you want to read this to the people, because it's a great, and this
is it?
True. Well, this is the beginning. This is what it was posted on. It was posted on the Madison County Balance. This was developed by a precinct committee man.
Okay.
And he felt that people needed to be more informed. And he's done an amazing job putting this together. It's Dan Morrell, and this is free. Any of you in Madison County or beyond can subscribe to this. He sends it out in the email. It's free. He takes that, he puts together. But he has a lot of good words of wisdom. He's a retired professor. And as you turn the page, I believe he's a graduate of AU, but I'm not sure. So, yeah. And then the next, can we go to the next one?
Okay. You want me to read this first?
No, just, okay. So this one, this is what I want you to express to people, Chris. Attend your local any meeting. It doesn't matter if it's a school board. It doesn't matter if it's county council. It doesn't matter if it's a commissioner. That's where you've got to go and get informed.
Yeah.
Because informed voters are the most dangerous to a corrupt system. That was the guidance from Rebecca Crooms, who said that to me. And those were powerful words that she shared.
Yes.
And then we go on to Dave Sargent's actual letter. And this is a good understanding that will lead us into why we're looking at what we're looking at.
Okay. All right, let me see here. So, let me see if I can pull this up on my phone so I can see it. It's a little tough to see there. And I know this will be hard for you guys to see, but we'll read it to you so you guys will have an understanding of what's going on there. Okay, here we go. So what this is saying here on the screen says.
And it starts with that journey in understanding county finances.
What? Okay, yeah. So the journey in understanding county finances by Dave Sargent. This is an article describing my journey to understanding the finances of Madison County government. And listen, if you're not from Madison County, folks, it doesn't matter. What you're going to hear in here, you can take away and take back to your home communities and listen to a lot of the same thing. While the names and the people might be different, specifically if you're in Indiana, everything's the same legally. And if you're outside of Indiana, while there might be differences in laws and things, it's the same ideas and principles. So don't just bow out if you're not from Madison County. But okay, going on. This is an article describing my journey to understand the finances of Madison County government. This has to be one of the most frustrating things I've tried to comprehend. I started following county government at a serious level in 2023. I started attending county commissioner and county council meetings and tried to understand and interpret what exactly was going on. Just learning the system and the accepted traditions and practices took a lot of time. How does each office work? How to research and get information? How to learn the system so I could interact with it? What were my rights and responsibilities? A very frustrating experience. With guidance by some elected officials, I started. I started with guidance from some elected officials. I started researching Indiana Gateway. Indiana Gateway is where the government agencies have to file their financial information. Another site is the Department of Local Government Finance. These two sites will give you a wealth of information once you learn how to decipher it. If you don't have an accounting degree, it can literally drive you to madness. County budgets usually are divided into line items and sections for different departments. For instance, the coroner's office has a different line item for different expenditures in its budget. Here's an example. See attached photo of the budget. As you can see from the proposed 2025 budget, for the coroner's office, it gives you a broad categories and amounts, but it does not go into great detail about what the actual expenditures are. So if you're really good at working the books, you can hide a great deal of money in the county. In all government, you can do that in the city, you can do it in towns. That's just, it's not a good system for transparency, and it is a great system for being able to hide things and for trickery. Okay, so that's very important for people to understand. Last month, when the county 911 dispatchers were requesting a raise, I had watched the council say that they didn't have any money and were in fact cutting budgets during the budget meetings. I even talked with the head of dispatch saying, yes, I agree, you do need a raise, but in all honesty, I didn't know where the county was going to get the money. Lo and behold, during the meeting, they found the money to give a well-deserved raises from a commissioner's line item number where the money was parked. I would love to see a forensic audit of the county's budget to see exactly where the county finances are. Trying to navigate all the different financial pages of Madison County, you had better have a good head on your shoulders. I want to say something about this here real quick. Our producer Kate, her husband is a former military military veteran, served 20 some years. He's ran for mayor of Winchester a couple of times. And one of the things that he runs on every time that he's ever ran is he said that if he wins, the very first thing that he would do as a mayor-elect would start working with the Department of Local Government Finance and the State Board of Accounts and requesting and fighting for a forensic audit to come in and look at the books on day one. And look, that's going to cost some money, and it might very well cost the city or the town, the county. But I highly think that is, I highly recommend that. And I think that if we could get good candidates that would be willing to fight for that, that's something that's needed in a lot of these communities. Because if we could get somebody to come in with a good team of, like, say we had like 3 or 4 or 5, 6 good counselors that were ever going in under one umbrella at one time, and we had a good body there, and they did a forensic audit, and we were able to start from zero. Number one, if the audit turns out to be okay, well, good. Now we know we're good and where we go from here. If there are issues, we can then correct those issues, and we can know, okay, good, we're good from here, and we can go from here. But just to continue to pretend like none of this goes on and none of that's needed, I think is very dangerous. Okay, I just wanted to tell you that because I agree with what he's saying there. A forensic audit is needed in a lot of these communities. He goes on, we have another major contract negotiation going on right now with the sheriff's deputies. I would love to have the financial acumen to be able to understand the budget and figure out the county's true financial status and where additional funding may be hidden. I'm still learning and watching. One of the problems with trying to figure out the county's finances is that the county has about 50 different income streams. County Auditor-elect Todd Culp just appeared before the commissioners and received permission to purchase new software that hopefully will help to forecast future necessary expenditures for the county. Also, it will have a public portal where the public can view the information on this new software. This is a continuing story of my journey to understand the finances of Madison County. If anyone has a great understanding and has the time, I would love to hear from you and get a better understanding and education of the financial framework. Dave Sargent.
Yeah, so I commend Dave Sargent for putting that all together. It's a well thought out. People don't understand, and more people need to see this information that's going on. I mean, that's just the bottom line. I mean, I don't know what else to say. Is he did a spectacular job, and I wanted to recognize him. I'm pretty sure he's watching tonight. So thank you for putting that together so the other people can see that. Now, the importance of that, and for the people is, and we're going to visit this again tomorrow night, is the first meeting of the county council will be Tuesday. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about how they're going to elect and what they're going to do with the council. But I want to show you why it's so important for you to attend this. So Kate, I just sent you a post. If you could put this up, it's from Madison County Government Accountability. Okay. Now, this is really important. Former County Council President Ben Gale's 2025 budget is a disaster. Under Ben Gale's leadership, there was no real budget process. Instead, Gale showed up with his own Excel spreadsheet. Gale, Likens, Emery, and Steele wouldn't allow the council to review every line item. Gale provided other council members his budget at the last minute. That budget was hastily adopted during a last-minute meeting to comply with the budget law. Well, here we are in January of 2025. And look at all those new money and transfer requests. If only we had an accurate annual budget, and we met in December.
Yeah, right.
The council and auditor doesn't publish detailed department requests. Wouldn't you like to know what $758,556.16 of your tax dollars from the COVID Safety Compliance Fund will be spent on? Instead, you're told $750,000 will be spent on other services and charges. And look at this mess. You mean to tell me everybody's budget has been reset in January and everybody needs this money? Now, I'm going to say this. I know you're not a Beeman fan, but I'm going to say this. Beeman is kind of understandable because they don't really know how many inmates are coming in and out, how much they're going to have, and you don't let them meet in December. So how can he even wrap up what he needed in December to get through to January? So I don't have too much to say about Beeman because he's only working with what he's got.
Sure.
But all the other ones and these other services and charges, this is a disaster. This is not a budget. And I'm going to tell you something. And every one of you county council members that are watching this year, I am fed up. Okay. So here's what I'm going to do for you. Since clearly Todd Culp is not transparent, what he ran his whole program on, I'm going to keep an Excel spreadsheet. And I think Cheryl is going to keep an Excel spreadsheet. And then we're going to bring those out every month to show how every department is absolutely a disaster and cannot live within their means. I am tired of being the county's parents. My kids don't even come home and say, Mom, you gave me a month's worth of money and I'm out of money. They know to live within the means that they are given for that month. And guess what? If they're out of money, well, they'll just have to wait till it resets.
Yeah. Yeah.
So attend on Tuesday. It's a free meeting. It's open to the public. Please attend. We'll talk more about that. But this is just all the things. Listen, if you don't follow Madison County Government Accountability page, get on there, start following it. You'll see stuff. Yes, there's times I get tired of hearing my own self on Facebook, but that's how we rolled into this. And then we'll roll into some other people's roles and come back to this tomorrow.
Just really briefly while we're here, because somebody, it might have been I don't know who it was.
Cheryl's asking.
Cheryl just asked if it was Cheryl asked if the citizens can request a forensic audit. Well, yeah. So yes and no. Citizens can call the Department of Local Government Finance and talk to them. They'll listen to you. I don't know that it will mean anything. You can also, all citizens can contact the Indiana State Board of Accounts. Again, it doesn't mean they're going to do anything, but you can tell them, your issues, and maybe it will trigger something. Obviously, you can tell your elected officials, hey, this is what we would like. You can go to Christy Grabowski. You can go to Bethany Keller. You can go to Diana Likens, or whatever her name is. You can go to the green guy, and all the people that are on the council, and say, this is what we expect. You can go to your commissioners, Gardner and Richwine, and say, this is what we expect that you do. Now, they may or may not do it, but while Catherine's talking about going to meetings, this is not from Madison County, but the principle is exactly the same. I just want to show you this real quick. Again, this is on Facebook, so it's hard to see. But I just want to show you, this is from a local group over here in Muncie. It's just one of the like awareness pages or whatever. It's called What's Up Muncie. And there's this man on there. And I don't know this man from Adam. He could be the best person. He could be the worst person. He could be a genius. He could be, I don't know anything about him. But he writes this, and I've seen this in so many different groups. I've seen this in Madison County. I've seen it in Henry County. It's everywhere, okay? It's in Colorado and Florida and Michigan and wherever else. This guy says, want to change the city? ? Write letters, make phone calls to the mayor, protest. We can all make a difference together, okay? All right. I mean, that's a pretty generic statement, but okay. Let's see what the comments say. So the first comment says, this. All right, so there's another person that's like, yeah, I'm ready for the fight. And that person says, we can form a group of interested individuals, interested citizens, gather information on the mayor's office, address and number, organize call campaigns for certain days, make signs, stand in front of the mayor's office, write up a list of demands, and formally present it all to the mayor. And to me, I hear that and I'm like, yeah, that's great. But you know what would be better than trying to organize that a bunch of people's not going to do? Just have them go to the meeting. Have them show up to a city council meeting and speak at the city council meeting. That's going to do more than two people going out and holding a sign by the mayor's window. The mayor's not going to see it. He's on the third floor. Okay. So you got to fight smarter, not harder. All right. So we go down here and we see this. Someone says, considering this page is silencing us for defending children against the okay, blah, blah, blah. All right. The more there are, the less there will be able to ignore us. Someone says, run for office. The same people who have been embezzling money from this town for decades are all in the same positions. Family members are in the same positions. And listen, that's good. Run for office. Yeah, we do need people to step up. But there are ways to fight other than running for office. And just because you don't run for office doesn't mean you can't have a say. Okay. And so there's a lot of people that start commenting in here and telling this guy he's wrong. And there's a big fight back and forth. And I'm like, whoa. It's okay to want to hold your government accountable. This guy says, we need to start holding our elected officials accountable. I like it. The mayor can be removed with a recall election. Okay, right here we've hit a wall. So he wrote that. And the very first thing I said when I got in here, because a bunch of people's like, yes, that's wonderful. We need to do that. Let's recall him. And he even shared a thing about recalling elections. I clicked on it and it was from California. That's not going to help us here in the state of Indiana. Indiana does not have recalls. We don't have impeachments. We don't have recalls. So I got in here and I said, listen, Indiana does not have recall or impeachment. The first thing that people need to understand is we have to get people, before getting people involved, we have to get people educated. And before we're getting them, there's something that happens between getting educated and going crazy. And that is getting involved. So you got to get educated, you've got to get involved, and then you've got to create action. And the getting educated is learning what we can and can't do, learning what's right and what's not right, and not putting out false information, not telling people that we can recall these people, because then you get people saying, yeah, well, let's just do that. I don't need to do anything. We'll just recall them. There are no recalls. So you got to get educated on what's real. Then you've got to attend the meetings. You got to get involved. And then you create the action. You get people registered. You make people show up to vote. And you do the things that matter. Because this guy, I went on for about 3 days. He's now fighting me. And he's mad at me because he's telling me that I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm completely in the wrong. There are recalls. We can I'm like, okay, dude, so he's spiraled down the drain of nothing's ever going to happen. He's all talk. He's all bluster. And he has no intentions of learning what needs to happen. And that's in Muncie. But that same thing happens in Madison County. Now, one thing before we continue on, I have to say I'm very proud of Katherine. And I'm very proud of the people of Madison County, because you guys are packing the meetings. You guys are setting asses in the seats, which are important. That is important. But I'm going to take it a little bit further. You can't just go, like, you can go and get in information and learn, but eventually you got to start speaking up. Now, not everybody's got to speak up. Maybe just Katherine and a handful, 4 or 5 other people speak up. But you know what you need to do? When Katherine speaks up, when others speak up, you need to stand in solidarity. If you're going to go to the meeting, but you're not going to speak, you need to stand when someone's speaking to show them, hey, you know, and the speaker can even say, look, I've got people standing in support with me. That we have to make these people afraid. They are afraid of numbers. They are afraid of education, and they are afraid of involvement. And that's what we need to get. And you guys in Madison County, you have the involvement. You've got people going, but I think we need to work more on the education, and we need to work more on then the action. All right, take it away.
I think more and more people, though, you're starting to see go to the podium.
Mm-hmm.
I think, and you know, as you've seen Laureen go to the podium,
Yes.
You've seen Lisa Rinker go to the podium, you've seen me go to the podium, Cheryl's going to the podium, Cindy Ponchett's going to the podium, Dave Sargent's going to the podium, Bree's going to the podium. As you start seeing Nicole goes to the podium, you start seeing people go to the podium. It's empowering other people.
It is.
And that's what you want. And that's what the great thing is when you're watching people starting to attend these things, they're actually becoming empowered, saying, okay, this is wrong. I mean, this comment here by Be Rich, and yes, I know who you are, but why do we have a beeper stipend in the 2025 budget? Now, maybe that person doesn't want to stand at the podium and say that. But, you know, somebody like Cheryl might be watching, or Nicole or Bree, and they may go to the podium and say, hey. So, you know, generating your thoughts and your comments helps people. The more eyes looking at this, the more people generating thoughts about this, asking those questions. I don't know. I mean, I'm in healthcare, people. I can't tell you any of our physicians that carry beepers. They all carry cell phones. And so I don't know why they still have beepers going on. It just blows my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's crazy.
That's the other thing in Madison County. When you first come in that room, in the back of the room, you have to sign a sheet. And if you haven't signed that sheet, you don't get to speak during public comment or new monies request, which is asinine.
Yeah, I want to fight back against this for a second, because I definitely agree. So in order to speak, you have to sign up. Now, listen to what I'm telling you, people of Madison County. First of all, you shouldn't have to. What if you want to sign up, that's fine. Here's what and this is an issue of, this is what you need to start telling your elected officials. And what I mean by that is, you need to call them, you need to text them, you need to email them, and they need to hear this from dozens of hundreds of thousands of people. They need to hear, listen, we have a First Amendment right, and we want to address you, and we don't want to sign up. Put the sign up sheet back there for some kind of order, if that's what they want to do. And if people want to sign up, grand, okay? They can go there, they can call the list, the name down the list, say there's 5 people to sign up. And then after they read that last name on the list, they can say, is there anyone else in the audience who has anything? And they should then allow people a chance to raise their hand or come up to the podium. Number 2, I want to be very clear to you. When you sign up, you don't have to give your legal name. You can Mickey Mouse or whatever. Now, they're going to maybe fight you back on that. That's up to you. You got to decide how far you want to push it. You don't have to give your address to speak. If you want to say that you're an Anderson resident or a Madison County resident, or you're an Anderson resident of Indiana, or you're a resident of California, you're an American. You have a First Amendment right. They cannot stop you from speaking. If you're from California and you're at the Madison County meeting, you can speak. They might fight you on it, but you have a right to speak, and you have to stand for your rights. So just, those are some things, but there's different levels of this. So yeah, I guess sign up to hold your, but I don't sign up when I go into a meeting. You don't have to do that. That's utterly nonsense. Every time I show up to sign up, they stick that shit in front of my face, and I say, no, thank you. I already have my insurance. I've already heard the good news. Jesus is king. We're cool. Take your paper and stick it up your ass.
Yes. And so this is the thing that I want everybody to understand. Dave Sargent's been attending a lot of these meetings, and he is absolutely correct that you have to sign up. It's at the end of the meeting, the public comment. They don't really care because they've already made their decisions, but yeah, you can say your piece. But they've already passed votes. This is only for the county council meeting. You cannot speak at a commissioners meeting unless you've kissed the ring, you've gotten on the docket before. The commissioners cannot think on their feet or for themselves. They need time to develop their lie and to get all three stories on the same page. So they do not allow anybody to speak unless they are warned, and you have to tell them what the questions are beforehand. So understand that. I still encourage you to go to the commissioners meeting. I still encourage you to try to ask questions at the commissioners meeting, because it just shows the incompetence of our commissioners. But I just want everybody to understand there are some differences here. I think Diva Danette is an excellent comment. I feel like the sign-up sheets are to intimidate people. Well, absolutely, they're to intimidate people. I mean, that's their whole goal, is to make sure that they keep you suppressed, they keep you stupid. This is why we are in 2025. There's no reason why the auditor's office doesn't have everything on the webpage as access. I mean, do you guys know that we have an election board hearing on Wednesday, January 15th at 1 p.m.? Because this affects their inner circle, it's not posted anywhere.
Yeah, and they made that decision 2 weeks ago. They should have had this posted the day after.
They still don't have it posted.
Yeah.
I mean, this is how it works in Madison County, right? So we're all, there's a group of us that have come together and are trying to help and support one another and get through this and share the information. So, as we go through all this, I will tell you this. There's someone who's watching this feed right now, and I'm not going to say her name. She called me today. And do you know that they were challenging her finances and saying that she had to have such and such turned in, and that they were going to fine her and they were going to do X, Y, and Z? And she's like, what do you mean? I already took care of all of that and everything's all been done. Oh no, Heather goes off the deep end. Oh no. You know what I'm saying? And I think to myself, if you guys are doing this to her, you better be finding Russ guilty on Wednesday. I got news for you. And here's the thing. I already know all you guys are watching. I know Heather's watching. I know Linda's watching. I know they're all watching, because they'll say things to me all the time that clue me in that they've been watching.
Hey, Linda.
But, again, we've gone down this rabbit hole, but I wanted everybody to understand how I got involved, and now why other people are getting involved with that. And I want to, I kind of want to roll into the prosecutor's office now, because I want you to know that if any of you are watching, I did my homework. Not sure if you guys did your homework. I watched The Kings of Tupelo Tupelo.
Oh, what did you call it? Holy
Netflix,
shit.
On Netflix. And you have to watch it. It's three shows. It's about 50 minutes long.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you right now,
is that prosecutor not Rodney Cummings?
I am just like floored.
I play a guitar and I'm out at the bar.
It's unbelievable of the friends and family benefit package in their town too. And so
because it happens everywhere, my friend.
You got to watch it. You feel like it's so surreal because we're living in this right now.
He's going to be a guest on this show.
Okay, I want to be on there with him.
Yeah.
I want to be on there too, because it's unbelievable. I mean,
what do you think about the head in the freezer?
Well, I mean, when I'm watching that, I'm like, oh, this is so me. I mean, people, these bodies had maggots in them. They want me to stick them in the freezer in the hospital. You understand that maggots move. Even if you've got them closed up in a body bag, they can get out of those zippers. I'm telling you. What would you do if your family member, you went to pick them up and they've got maggots? Oh, well, sorry, the coroner's office brought in a body and it got into your body.
Yeah, right.
These are the things I'm screaming about, saying we can't do this to people, right?
Yeah, right.
So, I mean, it's just crazy.
My husband died of cancer. How did he get maggots on him?
Exactly. I mean, people, this is the craziness in Madison County.
Yeah.
So, and we'll revisit all this again with other avenues tomorrow for the county council meeting, but I want to take us in now to this is a recorded video, or not video, recorded conversation that just happened to be sent to me. If people think I'm sitting around looking for this stuff, my inbox is full. I mean, I'm telling you, I turned my phone off in Mexico for 8 hours. I had 200 messages. I'm like, what is going on? And so I'm not sitting around looking for this stuff.
Nobody ever believes that, unless someone is actually around you. Like, because mine does this, and mine does the same thing. It's going the whole time we're on the show. But my grandparents are like, I don't know how you do that. I would just turn that thing off. Like, I go over there, my grandma tries to get my phone away from me to shut it down. It's nuts. Yeah. It's 24 hours a day.
Yeah, my girls are like, listen, we're here with you. Pay attention to this. I'm like, oh, but you got to see this. And they're so sick of it. But I want to say, Jeff, thank you for appreciating my passion. Not everybody enjoys that passion. But I want people to listen to this video that we sent. But I'm going to read to you kind of what I wrote about this video. You can find it on my Facebook page or on the 85 pages that it's been shared to. You can find it there too. Nobody has to be my friend on Facebook. It's open to the public. So don't feel.
Who does she sound like, Kate? My kid is growing up.
So I want everybody to know, they're going to listen to this recording with Madison County Prosecutor Rodney Cummings and Madison County GOP Chair Russ Willis. And the host is our new Lieutenant Governor, Micah Beckwith. That's who the host of it is. And if you can just give this 15 minutes of your time to listen to it, but you have to wait for the ending. You just have to wait for it. It appears the Madison County Prosecutor's Office has a selective and malicious prosecution system against people they don't like or their enemies who can expose their corruption. Their actions appear to scream, look how easy they make it for their inner circle to commit crimes without any repercussions. Meaning, when it's a prosecution against their inner circle, they refer only to a select few prosecutors. Even when the special prosecutors have the finding of the facts and it clearly states wrongdoing, the Madison County prosecutor refuses to take any action as well. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, everyday citizens are prosecuted in Madison County. It is as if the prosecutor's office in Madison County protects their own and it's weaponized against the citizens. Now, we're going to play this and then we're going to kind of stop and go here. The first step we're going to go to is at the 2-minute mark. Now, if you want to play this
Now, I got to say, this audio is horrible because these idiots
we're at a conference.
Decided they were at a Lincoln Day dinner inside the largest Lincoln Day dinner in the state of Indiana. So they are in like a large dining hall made out of complete cement. So everything is reverberating back and echoing off. So the audio is god awful. Okay. And listen, the idea of this
thing,
Jesus, sex, and politics.
Hey, that's Steve Sumner's all wrapped up in one.
Yeah, right?
Maybe he could be their new face on that one.
Right? I would say if it was two different pastors, this is a pretty interesting idea for a podcast. If it was done differently, I can't speak for the other host. There's two hosts, Micah Beckwith and the other guy. And the other guy is a pastor, and apparently he's an appointed delegate, in Madison County. Russ Willis appointed him as a delegate, which we will hear. But I really have a lot of questions about Beckwith. I'm not a big fan of his right now. Haven't been for a while. We're going to see what goes on with him, but I'm just not happy with a lot that I've heard and seen. And I want to say right now, it's got nothing to do with whatever weirdness that Cassie is saying about him. That's got nothing to do with it. Mine's all real stuff. But so what I'm saying is this issue, I listened to this Now, I want to say this before we get started. I listened to this. Katherine asked me to listen to this. And I listened to it. And my first comment was, that was pure trash. And I then said, for starters, it was nearly unlistenable because of the fact that they were in a dining hall while doing the interview. The second issue is it was 15 minutes worth of words being spoken with no actual substance to any of the words. And then, of course, the worst part is there were a bunch of patting each other on the back, maybe rubbing each other's legs, yucking. And it's 3 out of 4 guys that love the sound of their own voice. They don't truly understand what being a public servant means, and they look at it as just a way to elevate themselves and put themselves and their agendas in play rather than serving the actual public the way the Constitution outlines. I say 3 out of the 4 because I don't truly know the other host with Beckwith, but Beckwith, Cummings, and Willis make this a trash take. And so we're going to listen to this, and I want to apologize now for the audio. The audio is not my doing. It's theirs. Blame them. Let us know if you can hear this. I'm afraid you're not even going to be able to hear what's being said. Let us know. Oh, we got to get
and this guy.
And their intro song is "Call Me Maybe" by Carly Rae Jepsen. I'm like, what?
Bree said that to me too. She goes, "What on earth is that music?"
That's their intro song. Is "Call Me Maybe" by Carly Rae Jepsen.
Same thing.
Good God! This dude is a heartbeat away from being governor.
I don't know.
What?
Maybe they want to be called Daddy. I don't know.
That's very true, man. This is scary. This dude is a heartbeat away from being governor. Carly Rae Jepsen.
I was sitting right beside me, super friendly. We have Rodney Cummings with us from Anderson, and he's our mean DA with teeth.
How you doing, Nick?
I'm
Very
doing
good
good.
to see you.
Yeah.
Mike.
I'm always talking to Rodney about the death penalty.
Well, we had a pretty serious discussion about it, but one of my officers got killed last summer at the Elwood Police.
That's right. That was Noah, right?
I sure did. And I did file the death penalty against him. Not the first time I filed the death penalty, but I did file the death penalty in that case, and deservedly so.
That's right.
You know, I still have reservations that that's going to be carried out because we haven't had a death penalty survive scrutiny from the 7th Circuit Appeal, 6 from the Circuit Court of Appeals in Chicago in 13 years, maybe. They've overturned every single one of them. When I became prosecutor in 1995, there were 54 people on death row. There's 9 there now. They're not.
There's only 9.
Wow.
There's 9.
Wow.
They're not being executed.
And I'm guessing that's not because heinous crimes have gone down.
I just think there's the people who are against law and order, it's one of their issues, and it's outrageous. Trust me, I've been doing this job for 40 years. I was a police officer in Anderson for 15. Now in my 26 years, the elected prosecutor in Madison County. I was a deputy prosecutor in Hamilton County, Marion County, and Delaware County. There are a lot of bad people out there, a lot of bad people, and some of them commit crimes so horrible that the death penalty is an appropriate resolution of those cases. But unfortunately, it's just not happening as the way it should. Not at least here. I mean, Texas, Alabama, in the South, Florida, it still is happening there, but that's about the only place.
Yeah. And it's not literally a Indiana judge that's stopping this. It's a group of people from a different state.
Yeah, they're
Is that how that works?
They're from this judicial circuit, but it's in Chicago. It passes the Indiana Supreme Court, then gets past the federal district court, then it goes to the District Court of Appeals in Chicago. And they are, like Amy Coney Barrett was on, she overturned one of our cases. She's overturned several of them, and now she's on the Supreme Court. But there are people from Indiana, but other states as well. They get appointed by the president, and the Senate has
the confirmation.
They have to be confirmed.
Because I looked up how many people in Indiana were on death row just 4 or 5 days ago, and it was 46. You're saying there's only 9?
No, there's not.
Wow.
It might be 8, might be 9. Last number I heard was 9. There's no way it's in the 40s.
So for people who really want to better understand this, the process of going through this, by the time they get all their appeals, this is a 10-year long process?
Yeah, or at least.
At least.
The last death penalty I filed was in 2005. It was Frederick Bear, who did a home invasion in LaPel. He had done lots of home invasion rapes. He did a home invasion to rape a woman. She had a 4-year-old daughter there. He had a knife and started cutting her clothes off. The little girl came in. She resisted. He cut her throat and then cut the little girl's throat.
Oh, my gosh.
And the jury imposed a death penalty with the Seventh Circuit. And he was doing interviews. You know, I should be executed. Someone who does what I do should be executed. And still.
They still overturned it.
Absolutely.
Oh, my goodness.
Absolutely. So the first part of it is there can't be proof beyond a reasonable doubt. There has to be proof beyond all doubt before we're going to impose the death penalty. Then now is that the worst of the worst? Is this the worst of the worst kind of crimes? And it's just the public sentiment for it is going. It's like everything else in the media. You know, we don't want to put people in prison. We don't want to. It's constant. It's constant struggle about crimes being reduced. Let's get less people in prison. Let's don't hold people accountable. And then that's what you end up with in cities like Indianapolis and other major cities.
Now, do we believe that that's actually the run-of-the-mill voter? That you're saying that's the way it's swayed, that normal law-abiding citizens are asking for more leniency on murderers? Because I have a hard time believing that. I think people just see they see unbelievable crime and they're going, what the heck is going to turn the course here?
I agree with that, Nathan. But then when you put them in that seat, then they're like, oh, wait a minute, I don't want to be the one that has to decide it. That's what a lot of.
So you're saying that when they become juries, all the people that are going, I don't want to serve on the juries.
Yeah.
I don't want to serve on jury duty. We're letting that fall to people who are not going to make that decision.
I think the media has done such a successful job at indoctrinating people against how many wrongful convictions there are in this country, which is absolutely absurd. There are some, not as many as you would be led to believe. There are some, particularly some from the 80s, 90s. DNA wasn't there. That you'll find a few. It's not an overwhelming number, but if you watch the media in any movie about exonerating, it's like every day. It's a daily occurrence. That's the way it gets sold in the media. And it's ridiculous.
So what would it take to change it? Literally, we're talking different judges.
I think different laws. I think, different prosecutors. So few prosecutors now that you want to take the time. One of the criticisms is, are you going to spend $500,000 of taxpayers' money in Madison County for a case probably will not be imposed on this defendant? Yeah, absolutely. Because this is my assignment. That's what I'm going to do. Others have different assignments. Let them make the decision they need to make. It's the law in Indiana. And as long as it is, I have to decide, is this an appropriate case? And if you shoot at a police officer 36 times and hit him so many times you can't tell how many times he was shot before he didn't even get out of the car. Yeah, that's a death penalty case in my view. I believe he's going to be sentenced to death. As it get through the appellate process, I'm not as confident.
Wow. So Rodney, you're DA of Madison County, but you're also in the 5th Congressional District, the district that I ran for, and you've announced that you're running for Congress in the 5th. Is that right, or did I get ahead of you there?
Well, I haven't announced it. The formal announcement is April 26th.
Okay, all right.
At 4 p.m. in Anderson.
Oh, so okay, all right.
I will say this. I'm the district attorney. I'm the prosecuting attorney in Madison County. I'm also president of the Indiana Association of Prosecuting Attorneys. My 90 colleagues elected me to be the president. I'm also been elected twice to serve as Indiana's only representative on the National District Attorney's Board of Directors. So one of the conversations, I just came back from Phoenix 2 weeks ago for a board meeting. The conversation is then, do we make a statement about the Manhattan DA and Mr. Bragg and all of that?
Yeah.
There was a lot of discussion. There's about 50 or 60 members of that board, and we're all very diverse, large, small, Democrats, Republicans, and ultimately the decision was not to make a decision. But I go to Washington every year for a week to lobby or advocate for national crime laws. In February, I was in D.C., met with Erin Houchin, who's a good friend of mine. She invited me to dinner. I had dinner with 8 members of Congress, which was very enlightening. I mean, people think.
Did they try to talk you out of it?
No, they were encouraging me, but
okay.
They were talking.
Were they like, you really want this job? You got to come out to the swamp. And
it is not glamorous.
Oh, it's not at all. No,
Two of those guys were sleeping in air mattresses in their office.
Yeah.
Because you have to have a place in D.C. and a place at home.
Yeah.
Most of them are younger than I am.
Yeah, big bucks.
They have kids. All of them were FaceTiming their kids. And there's no way. I mean, I was too active with my children and their sports lives and school. I couldn't have done that. But at this point in my life, I'm financially secure and I don't have children I have to worry about. And I would say this: yes, I am going to run for the 5th District Republican nomination. And this is why. I don't believe anybody has my resume, both in the state. I was in the State House 2 weeks ago testifying before Ways and Means Committee. I've been doing that for 10 or 12 years. This is my 5th year with the National District Attorney's Board of Directors. We advocate for national crime policy. I'm there on the Hill most of every year. I'm in the State House lobbying these things.
Right.
In addition, I've got life experiences nobody else has.
Mm-hmm.
And I love Hamilton County. I really do. I live 15 minutes from here, and I shop, and I eat, and I enjoy a lot of my private time here.
Yep.
But this community does not represent the other communities in this district. How many people in this community have ever been to Anderson, Muncie, Marion, or Kokomo?
Yeah.
Very few, probably. And the theme I think I'm going to run pretty strong in Madison County. I believe I'm going to run very strong in Delaware County. I have the elected officials there, party chairs, same way in Grant County. I'm still working Wayne County. Met with the mayor a couple of weeks ago and Senator Buck. And
folks, this was recorded in April of 2023. So at the time this is recording, we were in our municipal election, so it was only the city elections. So what he was announcing was he was basically announcing his possible run for the election that just ended in 2024. And he put in an exploratory campaign. He was like deciding if he was going to do it. And he bowed out. He decided not to run. And
because he didn't have enough money to buy the election.
Yeah, right.
He says that in this. I don't have enough. I don't have $1 million to buy this seat, so I can't do it because I'd be going against Victoria Sparks and Chuck Goodrich, and they've just got too much money. Yeah. So, no, you're okay, Cindy. I just wanted to make sure you guys were aware of what was going on. So this is almost over, and we've got some pointers here. We just wanted because Russ is getting ready to talk.
Buck, who's the 5th District Chair, I've met with them, very encouraging. We'll see what happens. The real issue for me is if I have enough money, I will win this election. Yeah. But what you do is challenge people who are going to spend $1 million or $2 million of their own dollars. And I'm not really sure, or Micah, that our founders envisioned rich people buying seats.
Yeah.
And that's what happens here.
Yeah, Micah has always said that that's one of the big things, just trying to get on ballots in different places that they make it so very difficult for ordinary people to run.
Yeah,
without a doubt.
Hey, we got one of your friends here, and a friend of mine too. We've got the Russ. Madison County
the guy who let me be a
chair. Delegate. That's right. He appointed. I don't know what he was thinking when he appointed Nathan to the delegate spot. But Russ, how are you?
We always make a mistake once in a while.
Russ, what's going on? Welcome to Hamilton County. What's going on up in Madison County with the Republican Party?
Well, we just pretty well own the place. We swept the offices last fall. We only had 2 that we didn't have, and now we have those.
Okay.
Wow.
Good.
We hope to carry that over to next year, obviously.
So it's interesting, Madison County, because you got a very red county, but Anderson is more blue, right? So what are you doing to kind of counter that? Like, how are you like, what can we do to kind of take Anderson back in the way of, we'll say righteousness, for lack of a better word, right? But are you got a strategy for Anderson?
Well, we're working on to get more of a presence on the city council.
Okay.
Don't know how the primary is going to come out. Both sides. Democrat incumbent mayor has 2 opponents. We have 3 people running on the Republican side. So we'll just have to see how that sorts out. I'm concentrating on the city council because that's where I can have some influence.
Yeah.
And try to get some good people in there and make, we won't have a majority. I don't expect that because it is, the city itself is Democrat.
Yeah.
Dynamics.
When we were driving around, when you took me out, Rod, you were talking about just how bad the schools are in Anderson. What's going to change there?
Anderson is a tough community. The last 2 years, we've been listed by national publications as the 15th most miserable city in America.
Wow.
We have one of the lowest performing school systems in Indiana, and it's very disappointing. I mean, honestly, both of my daughters graduated from Madison High School, but I'm not sure I would send them there now. It's just the quality of the education. I wish it were better. I love that community, but there's so much. One of the real problems we have is there's a lot of poverty and drugs, and you look at this statewide, all the negatives statistically, we're in the bottom 3 counties in every category. And what hurts us more is all the professional people just move 15 miles to Hamilton County.
Yeah.
And so that's very, I mean, losing those people out of our community makes it very tough. And Anderson is extremely Democratic, although the county was too. When I got elected in '94, I was only the second Republican. I only countywide office. Now there are no Democrats that hold countywide office, even down hold 8 are state reps or state senators, even down to the township levels. There are no Democrats.
Wow.
But the city and the mayor, the clerk, the judge, 7 of the 9 county council members are Democrat, and we're losing one who's running for mayor, so we're going to struggle to even get 2. So, I mean,
but if it hadn't been for him being prosecutor for the last 20 years, we'd be in a whole lot worse shape. Very honestly.
Yeah.
Now, if you step out of that position, though, you have a sharp young man that will follow after you.
I'm working on it. I mean, we had the reason why you have to take a driver's license to vote in Indiana is because of voter fraud that was happening in Anderson.
Wow.
Prosecuted those people. The FBI was in here, and it was an ugly situation. The FBI identified 3,000 fraudulent votes that were being cast.
Jeez.
And I think
that's a big deal in a small kind of little community. Yeah.
Well, it makes a difference.
Yeah.
Republican. You go in, you got to win by more than 2,500 or 3,000 to even have a chance to win. You got to.
Yeah. So, hey, real quick, if people want to find out more about Madison County Republicans and then about what you're doing, Rodney, where can they go?
I don't have a website up yet, but you can look my name up on Google, on YouTube. There's 1,000
Okay,
videos.
all right.
An HBO special about it.
Leave a message, 765-643-4871. I do return phone calls.
Cool.
Yes, he does.
All right.
I will say that. I know that for certain.
Russ
thanks so
Willis,
much
the
for
chairman
being
of Madison County Republican Party, and Rodney Cummins running for
Thanks,
Congress in the
guys,
5th.
for
So
being
thanks.
on.
Yeah, you guys have a great evening. Yep. We'll be right back from the Lincoln Day dinner here at Hamilton County Republican Party.
So I just want to point, and I appreciate everybody listening to that. I've had to listen to it 3 or 4 times to catch up everything. So I would encourage people to go back and listen to it again. But I just want to point out a few things at the 2-minute mark where, Rodney talks about law and order for the people of Madison County. Well, where is the law and order in Madison County for the people? Because, election crimes have been committed by Russ Willis. And he's not found. I mean, he's found guilty, but there'll be no charges. There's no law and order. When you are allowing election crimes to go on, that elections can be tampered with. I mean, they just say at the end, well, when you go in and you need to win by 2,500 votes, well, it's pretty important if we've got 3,000 of voter frauds. These guys are already estimating. I mean, look at how many close races we've had in the last couple of years. Some only winning by 3 or 4. They're rocking this out. I don't care. Y'all can tell me I'm a conspiracy theorist. I'm telling you right now, they know exactly what they're doing to push these numbers through. At the 4-minute and 25-minute mark, all proof beyond a reasonable doubt. Rodney says this. Oh, that all proof. We're just following the law. Well, that's interesting because we found Russ Willis, beyond reasonable doubt, was guilty. The prosecutor even says in the article. And what happens? Oh, we're not going to charge him. He's not going to have any consequences. The 40-minute mark, Rodney points the finger at everyone else, yet he is failing Madison County miserably. He refuses to prosecute anyone in his inner circle. They are going to secure this seat for Andrew Hanna. That is their number one goal. I mean, that is who they are grooming. That is who they want to do this. And, I like Andrew. But Andrew is running that office. Rodney's not really in that office very often. I mean, people are calling me, telling me, say, you want to talk about ghost employment? Look at that prosecutor's office. It is awful. And that's the whole thing. There is no accountability in that prosecutor's office. None. They are allowed to run and circle jerk anybody they want because they have that control. And that is abuse of power.
Absolutely.
Rodney's blaming the media. He's blaming the community. He's not the reason why this community is a third world country. Maybe if he prosecuted some of these people,
yes,
right, we wouldn't look like this. At the 11-minute mark, our very own corrupt GOP chair Willis takes center stage on this recording. And then at the 14-minute mark, Russ professes his loyalty and his love to Rodney. What's the interpretation? Rodney protects his inner circle. Therefore, election crimes will keep winning it all the way through for them. At the 14 and 19-second mark, voter fraud, 3,000 fraud. I have searched high and low for this voter fraud. I cannot find it. And you know what really makes me mad? What really makes me mad is if they think voter fraud is such a big deal, then I want to know why Rodney Cummings expunged Mikhail Vaughn's voter fraud crap. If it was that big of a deal. You know why? Because they're doing it themselves. The problem is we the people now have to prove it. So, and that's the thing. Why this all has to depend on us, the people who have elected these positions want them to do the right thing and they can't. So now it's falling on all of us. And I have to speculate this question. Is this why they are so upset with Larry Savage? Because he showed the people how they can force ballots within minutes to make the numbers match their personal agendas. We know what's going on now. That's why even in the canvassing that we had in the fall, Rush violated that. We couldn't see what's going on. They took it behind a door. Yeah, they had videos, but they had it in places where the cameras couldn't see what was going on behind those doors. That's a violation. So now that it's clear that Russ has violated that and he knows what the problem is, now we get to show again. I mean, we just keep filing until it doesn't stop. So, here's what I want people to understand. Some of you are Biden fans on this show. Some of you are Trump fans. I read an article this morning that Biden, still at Jimmy Carter's funeral, used that as a platform. He couldn't take the politics out of that funeral. And so he says, we, the people, have an obligation to stand up to the abuse of power by these corrupt elected officials. It goes both ways, people. I don't care what side of the fence you're sitting on. We have to hold people accountable. No one is innocent in this. Neither party is innocent. I'm so sick of hearing people tell me party after. No one's innocent. Both parties have made huge errors. So I want everybody to know, and again, this goes to Rebecca Crooms, an informed community or voter is the most dangerous to a corrupt government system, because if you are educated to vote, you're going to vote in the good of people. And this is the whole thing. The fact that Linda Smith is allowing this to continue just floors my mind, because that team has already plotted who they're going to run against Linda Smith. Her own inner circle has already decided they're going to run somebody against her. And here's the thing, Linda, if you're watching, if you think I'm saying this just to say this, oh, believe me, I already know who it is. I've already heard through the grapevine, and it's very reliable. And I'm telling you right now, if you don't stand for the people will probably vote the other way, even though that candidate is probably worse than you. So this will be really interesting. And I know everybody knows that I jump from position to position, but we have some breaking news. While we were listening to this whole recording, some breaking news came in, and I want to show you how corrupt Madison County and the Herald Bulletin truly is. Chris doesn't even know this has occurred yet. Watch this. There's a post out on social media about Herb Likens being a travel agent. Okay, right here. It was my displeasure to vote for Steve Sumner's personal travel agent, Herb Likens, for the best of Madison County travel agent. Now, I want everybody to wait for this because Jamie, nobody knows about this. So it says Herb is a step above the rest. It takes a special kind of travel advisor to funnel thousands of dollars to his clients while out on bond and while sending them out of state. Too bad Herb was the only Likens nominated. We all know it was really the entire team at Likens Farms who enabled Steve to become a fugitive. And then we went on and we posted all the candidates. You see here, and Herb Likens is right here. We even posted the documents of Steve Sumner's, the Likens funding it, and everything like that. Well, after this post came out late last night, and we had several people. Oh, we need to read this. Read these comments from Jamie Lynn. These pictures.
Okay, let me get to
That, those need to be read.
All right, let me get it pulled up here. Who is the comment? Is it Jamie?
This is Jamie going back and forth with the prosecutor's office.
Okay, hi. I had talked to you all previously about Steve leaving the state and was told we needed proof. I just received his bank statement from the account and he opened after this happened. It shows all through there that he's almost out of state more than in state. Is this enough proof, Jamie? And then the person responding back said, hi, Jamie. Jackie said we would have to see what it is you are talking about. Is there any way you can send it to me? Okay. Then Jamie sends and says, here it is. Just one page that I'm attaching. I highlighted a few of the out-of-state purchases and
hotel rooms and things like that.
Yeah, I've seen these. Okay. Thanks, Jamie. I will forward this to Jackie. We are in jury trial today, tomorrow, and possibly Thursday. I will get back to you as soon as I can, Julie.
So who cares? He could run.
Yeah,
what's a couple days? Let's give him a little running start.
Yeah. Okay. Hi. I really don't know what else to say except we are very scared of him. And also, he does have 220,000 free flying miles and is believed to already traveling regularly to Texas. I just forwarded you the bank statement. It shows where he has been and Southwest purchases. Okay. Hi. Wondering if the trial dates were set last Friday and if there were any other updates. Also, her therapist, or the therapist. Oop. What happened? Sorry. You're right. The therapist let us know that there is no record on the docket that Steve has permission to travel out of state. What can be done about this? Hi, wanted to let you know that there are no new dates yet. Also, we are going to make his attorney aware that if we get any proof of him traveling out of state, then we will file a motion pertaining to that.
But they never did. So I just want you to know, it's these people are like, oh, they didn't know. They knew. Now, I want to show you who owns the paper in Madison County. I want to show you who buys the paper and that the paper is a piece of crap. Look at this.
Looks like the Herald Bulletin decided to remove Herb Likens. It's so odd they removed someone who had already received votes.
So Herb Likens is no longer on there. Okay?
Why?
Talk about an unfair contest.
Yeah.
They're removing people who had votes now.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. Whoever voted for him, I bet you they don't get to go back and vote again. That is corruption right down to the paper.
Yeah.
That is what you see. Listen.
Why would they remove him?
Well, because I'm sure the Lycans called and threw a fit. They throw so much money at the Herald Bulletin that they own the paper. They own everything. This is what corruption. I'm telling you guys, if you have not seen the Kings of Tupelo, you need to watch it.
Yeah.
Because it's happening right here in Madison County. And now you guys have seen it firsthand what the Herald Bulletin is made of. That is not journalism. That is not what these people have signed up as an ethical thing. This is a problem. It is a problem in the prosecutor's office. You know, I take an oath to do no harm when I take care of patients. These people take oaths too. And look at this corruption. And it's so blatant. It's right there in your face. I mean, here's the thing. Whoever wins these Madison County Awards things, I mean, here for me, people, I'm in 5 categories. I've already won. The fact that you people have put me in 5 categories, it doesn't matter if I get the most votes. What matters is you put me in 5 categories, because now we have no idea who truly is the winner of this this contest. It's not fair.
Sure.
It's unbelievable. So, you know, so I wanted to bring that to your guys' attention just so that you heard it here first on the Political Spotlight.
That's
and
great.
That, you know, this is breaking, because this all just happened while you were on there, right? I mean, Cindy Ponchett, she had sent in a letter to nominate, like, you know, Person of the Year. And then they told her that they changed the deadline. And this was before the deadline, right? So she sends them back the print of the paper and says, I don't know, it was something like, well, what do you mean it's changed? Because it's not due till the 15th and it's the 9th. Oh, no, we've already closed that. Well, why? Because she nominated me. So they're like, oh, hell no, Catherine's not getting on there. Are you kidding me? We only use Catherine's name when we can run her through the mud. I mean, that's all we want to do. I mean, that's their enjoyment. So I just want people to see.
Yes.
We get it. We get Scott Underwood is the worst. I get what Megan Green's been through. I get what Jamie's been through. I get what a lot of these people have been through. And it hasn't been easy because you've been by yourself. Well, clearly there's more people joining the team that says enough is enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know? So I want to show you guys, if you haven't seen it now, the whole premise behind understanding that video, or that, whatever you want to call it, interview with those guys. And what came out in the Herald Bulletin was unbelievable, because here Joswiak filed a violation for canvassing in May for the primary. And then that was in June that it all went in front of the election board.
Yeah.
He was under investigation. And what did this county do? What did Linda Clerk, the Smith, do? What did Lannon do?
Yes.
They empowered him to be in the election rooms on election night. This is a federal election, people. Federal election that he violated this on.
Yeah.
They let him go, and he's in this room by himself. We have it on video. Like, we have him literally on video being left alone with ballots and in these rooms by himself. Okay. And I even asked them on the day of election, you three, because they all had to come down together. I asked to talk to Linda. They had to all three come down to talk to me. Linda and Tim have the power to have Russ removed, but instead they promote him.
Absolutely.
And so they allow him to continue on. And how long has it taken? What, 7-8 months?
Yeah.
And now they find, yes, he was wrong, but you know what? We're not going to press any charges. Whoa, slow your roll, everybody. Because you all got Larry Savage done the same day.
Yeah.
And then you had him jailed within a week. And then he had to post bond.
Yeah.
This is ludicrous.
Yeah.
Right? So here's the article. Prosecutor Joseph illegally denied right to watch vote count in Madison County primary. How misleading is this title? Because you have to wait till you get all the way to the last line of this article. So let's read this article for the people.
Well, yeah. So that and
well, not only that, but the way the headline is written, it sounds like Joswiak did something.
Yeah. Joswiak illegally denied right to watch vote in Madison County primary. It needs to say they don't want to put Willis illegally denied right of citizen to watch vote count in Madison County. This is just some amazing,
because they own the paper.
Yeah.
They own
no
them.
question. Yeah. It's gross. It's absolutely gross. And we went through this the other day a little bit, kind of teasing up this program for tonight. And I was talking about the fact that this is absolutely stunning, the way that this comes together. So the article says a special prosecutor has determined that Rob Joswiak was improperly detained and let me restart. I think I was having a stroke. A special prosecutor has determined that Rob Joswiak was improperly denied the opportunity to watch ballots being counted during the May primary. Joswiak filed a complaint with the Madison County Election Board last June after Russ Willis, president of the election board, denied him access to watch the counting of ballots at Madison County Government Center. The election board referred the complaint to the Madison County Prosecutor's Office. Then Madison County Circuit Court Division 6 Judge Mark Dudley appointed Angela Weber, a deputy prosecutor in Johnson County. Indiana State Police investigated the allegations. Now, I want to pause right here. Joswiak filed the complaint, but the election board did everything they could to drag ass and to make it not an easy thing.
Listen,
and it was a pain in the ass.
The state police called and said, we really can't hear what Russ is saying on that video.
Yeah.
And so this really shouldn't go any further. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, right. Turn up your volume, idiots. Weber said she didn't know whether, and here this is a typo. Weber said she didn't know whether Joswiak was denied access because of ignorance on behalf of Willis of the law and applicable election board policy, or because Joswiak didn't have credentials. She goes on, however, to say either reason is troubling and unacceptable. So she's like laying it out. Boom, bang, pow.
But here's the thing.
This was a problem.
Aren't you supposed to, as a judge, get clarification before you put out a ruling?
She's not a judge. She's a prosecutor.
Or a prosecutor? Why aren't you getting clarification?
Back up here. No, I mean, but here's the thing. She's saying either way is wrong. And I agree. But the issue is, so she's doing something different than what a judge would do. She's determining whether or not there is probable cause to file criminal charges. And I'm going to tell you, because of what's happened here in these first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 paragraphs, she's got probable cause. I've been in here. I filed charges. I worked in the prosecutor's office. I was a police officer. I'm telling you, there's probable cause to suspect Russ of this. There, in my opinion, there was probable cause to arrest him. There's probable cause for the prosecutor's office to file charges, and there's enough there to work on either getting a plea or getting a jury win or a bench trial. Either way, there is something here. You know, where there's smoke, there's fire, and there's a hell of a lot of smoke. All right, let's move on. So it says, the chairman of the election board should also take reasonable steps to help a member of the public get required credentials, especially when they are readily available, instead of curtly and dismissively denying a request to view vote canvassing. So listen, the fact that she wrote instead of curtly and dismissively, she watched the video. She saw what Russ did, and she knew that it was wrong. Okay, so let's move along here. Based on the evidence produced in the investigation, it is indisputable. Okay, I want to pause here for just 1 second, and I want to pop up here just really briefly, and I want to look this up for anyone that might be struggling. Indisputable. Okay, similar. Let's look this up in the thesaurus. Okay, incontrovertible, beyond dispute, unquestionable, beyond question, not in doubt, irrefutable. Wow, those all sound like words dancing around what the prosecutor of Madison County said. Beyond a reasonable doubt. And then when he spoke about the death penalty, he said removing all doubt. Okay, you really have to know. But everyone knows that in a regular criminal case, it's beyond a reasonable doubt. Well, listen to what this prosecutor is saying here about Russ Willis. It's indisputable that Mr. Willis denied Joswiak access to watch the canvassing votes. Weber wrote in her findings. So as I'm reading this paper, I'm thinking, oh shit, this guy's screwed. She's gonna get him. All right, so we go on. During meetings of the election board, it was determined that Joswiak should have been permitted to view the canvassing of votes, and amendments were made to the policy to allow citizens to observe the counting of ballots. Okay, good. She's going on and saying that, you know, everyone's admitting this was an issue and they're taking steps to fix it. Good. Thank God we're going to punish Russ Willis. All right. The election board responded appropriately in the situation. But did they?
No, they did not.
I don't think they did. I think they drugged their feet. I think they slow-assed it. I think they how
many times did we have to come back and meet on this topic?
Yes.
Right there in itself shows you they're not for the people.
Yes. Yeah, it was not a this was not quick. The board's going to swing into action and do the right thing here. They had to be pushed, poked, and prodded into doing half-assed job of the right thing, Weber said. It made itself accountable. No, the people made it accountable to the public through transparency and candor in addressing Mr. Willis's error on May 7th, 2024. It acted swiftly to ensure it doesn't happen again. The special prosecutor's ruling brings the case to its conclusion. Willis will face no penalties or further actions. I read this and I was like, what? This is insane.
This is corruption.
Absolutely. 100%.
This is corruption. And this corruption, I'm telling you, people, is only going to get worse. I do hope that we can fill the room on January 15th at 1 o'clock. I know that's when people are working. I know it's cold outside. I get that. I know it's inconvenient. I'm hoping we can fill that room. I don't know what's going to happen because I'm sure a lot of people are disgusted over how he's not going to face any charges, right? But we have to keep moving forward. We just have to. I mean, what we have to worry about is the 2026 election. At this point, Andrew Hanna, if you're watching, I really like you. I can't vote for you. I absolutely cannot vote for you because the prosecutor's office and the people who are in there right now cannot do the right thing no matter what is going on. And that in itself is a problem. And that should be a problem with everybody. Right? I want you to know this headline should read Madison County full of corruption all the way to the prosecutor's office. That is what it should be saying on there. You can lie, cheat, and steal elections in Madison County if you're in the inner circle. As long as you have the friends and families benefit package, you fear and face no consequences. That's the reality in Madison County. Look at the mysterious disappearance of Steve Sumner, and now Russ Willis committed an election crime and will face no penalties. The public should be outraged, and no Indiana codes apply to elections in Madison County. The elected clerk, Linda Smith, can do something but chooses to look the other way. Lannon is an attorney and is looking the other way. They should be outraged. I should walk in that room on Wednesday. There should be about 2 minutes going on, and it should say, this is being referred on. There's no other discussion here because this is absolute crap that Russ got to walk away with the canvassing problems. For Weber to even say that it was quickly changed, no, it wasn't. There were still areas that we couldn't see, we couldn't view. We were put in a hallway to be made uncomfortable. People couldn't sit down to watch this comfortably. People didn't have a whole row. We didn't see what was going on in the elevator. We didn't see what was going on when they were moving things down. This wasn't transparent at all. All it was is a smoke and screen to accommodate people and say, okay, no, there's still cheating going on. I don't care what anybody says.
Well, so,
and here's the thing, Linda can have him charged.
Sure.
The prosecutor can have him charged. Sure. They can look at what Weber's saying, but they could have done something. And you know what? Andrew Hanna point blank has said to me, get him to our office, file the complaints, and we will make sure it's enforced. Well, you lied.
Yep.
I don't know how else to tell you. And this is a very bad way to start your political career. Because Andrew has a lot of potential. I could see where Andrew could be attorney general. But with this, he needs to get off that train and get off of it quickly because he's going to kill his own career.
Yeah. I'm afraid he's too far involved.
He is too far involved. And that's what's
with Cummings and Russ Willis and all of that. I'm afraid that he's too far gone.
And if they think that Russ is keeping that chair seat or one of their cronies is keeping that chair seat, I'm telling you right now, it's not going to happen. There's enough PCs. It is not going to happen. The time is coming. The reckoning ball is coming. The people have had enough in Madison County.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So, and that's what I put in the description of this episode as one of the things that we'd be talking about was the fact that, in this situation, Russ dodged a bullet because, they were, listen, they had him 1,000 different ways. This was a open and shut case, and it was just the corrupt bullshit that stepped in and saved his ass. But I'm going to tell you, it's getting too much. The stuff's happening too frequently, and I don't know how many more near misses he has. We've got this second complaint that's coming up at 1 p.m. on Wednesday, January 15th, 2025, the election board meeting to address the complaint against Russ Willis. It will be inside the Madison County Council room, the Madison County Commissioner's room at the Madison County building. It will be there this coming Wednesday at 1 o'clock. Okay, so keep that in your mind. That's against him. Then he's also got the challenge, this uphill battle he faces if he wants to be chairman again. And I don't think that he has what he needs to pull that off. So the question is, what is going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back? It's going to happen. There will be a disaster here. And what's going to happen is there's got to be people to build after all this is over. So there have to be good people, and I think there are good people. But Andrew Hanna, that's his name, right? Andrew Hanna?
That's his name.
He could be one of those people on the other side of all of this bullshit and this disaster to clean up. But I'm afraid he's not going to be. So, okay, well, listen, here's what we do. We quit screwing with him. Andrew Hanna, you know what? To hell with you. You're out of the picture. You want to start playing ball. You want to start doing the right thing. Maybe we can talk later on, but to hell with you. To hell with you. To hell with Rodney. All of that. So what we have to do is we have to worry about people. And I'm telling you, if you're an attorney in Madison County, you need to think about running for prosecutor. Yes. If you are, I'm not going to say any names, but I have a name in my mind that I would love to see run, and I'm going to start putting some pressure because I would love to see it. But there are some people I think that could step up to the plate. But I think Russ Russ may have dodged this bullet, and he may have got out of this one. And I tell you what, they may completely wash their hands of your complaint, which I think would be utterly bullshit. Because let me tell you, the only thing else that's would have him dead to rights than Joswiak's complaint is your complaint. And the way that you and Lorene laid that out at the first hearing, if they do anything else other than push this on for another review, they're full of shit. And it was decided before we even spoke these words. But I will tell you, his road is short. He's just about done. I just have this feeling, and that's a good thing.
If they don't understand that they're literally the house of cards is on fire.
Yeah.
You can't throw water on it because then it's going to even go faster, right?
Yeah.
But what they are doing, this whole political inner circle, you guys are throwing kerosene on it. You're throwing kerosene on your own party. Yeah. I mean, you're literally allowing one person to self-destruct your entire empire, which it doesn't bother me. I'm actually appreciative of that. You've made this very easy for me. I'm listening to people on social media talk crap about me. Listen, I can't make this stuff up.
Right.
I can't make it that the Herald Bulletin is pulling things off of a some type of election process that I didn't have anything to do with. I just made the post.
Yeah.
I can't help it that the Herald Bulletin doesn't even know that Rick Gardner is running for commissioner and puts it on auditor. And the very first day of January, they have to write a rebuttal saying, okay, we've made an error. I'm not the one that's the problem.
Right.
So people need to get that through your head. I'm the one just pointing out what everybody's too afraid to say. The fact of the matter is that at some point, Linda, Lannon, Cummings, all you people have to say, we need a sacrificial lamb.
Yeah.
And we're going to serve up Russ Willis.
Yeah.
All we're asking for them to do is the right thing. The right thing for that party to meet and say, Russ, you must resign now. But no, you're letting his ego, you're letting his tantrums. And if you believe that he's going to stay in that seat and he's going to protect you, I'm telling you, your inner circle is done. Is done. Too many people are aware. And at some point, somebody has to stand. And I'm going to tell you something. If you want to continue down this path, go ahead. But you're going to run out of special prosecutors because special prosecutors are going to say, I don't want to be Weber.
Yeah.
I don't want to be this guy from Tippecanoe. Yeah. You guys are a hot mess in Madison County. We don't want anything to do with this. This is a hot potato, and that's your guys' political career. At your political screw-ups, we don't want our careers to be that way. I'll tell you right now, I'll never vote for Weber. Somebody calls me and says, hey, what do you think about this lady Weber who's running? Well, I'm all about females doing their thing. But no, this woman can't even do the right thing, and she's from another county. What does she care for prosecuting our GOP over here?
Well, yeah. Well, and I'll tell you, so I told the people when I first went over this, I know the prosecutor down in Johnson County, and I sent off an email. I want to reach out to Weber and say, hey, just FYI, in case you were not aware, there's now a second complaint against this guy. I want to let her know that, it's not like this was a whoopsie one and done and we've
Whoever
corrected
put
it.
Brian Williams on here, I'm telling you right now, he is the most corrupt of all of them. I get it, but I'm telling you right now, Brian Williams is a puppet master that's back there too. They are all in bed with each other, and it's absolutely ridiculous. I used to think Brian Williams was on the straight and narrow, but after watching this whole show go on, no, absolutely not. And I'm going to tell you why. There are several prosecutors who stand in that back of that room when I'm up there being gavelled. There are several prosecutors who are standing in the back of that room when I'm being walked out by the sheriff. Brian Williams is one of them. Andrew Henn is another one. Any of those people can stand up there and say, we went to law school. We believe in one's First Amendment rights. You have got to allow this lady to speak. And none of them can stand forward. Now, I'm going to tell you something. I will say the sheriffs do stand, because it took them 3 times to ask the sheriffs to approach me. And all 3 times, all the sheriffs were like, man, we don't want to do this. because I wasn't saying anything bad. I was just speaking the truth, and they know that. And so this is the reality of this. I'm just telling you right now, I get it. We're short on prosecutors, but we need an enema in Madison County. And it starts with Russ Willis.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do feel like, for the record, I agree with everything you just said there. I do, though, then have to just say, even though it did take 3 times, the sheriff
Don't
did
even
come
start
for
with
you.
me with that.
The sheriff did
Don't
come
even
for you.
start with me with that. No, we're not even going down that road.
He did come for you. So, and it didn't take them 3 times to get rid of me. He snapped his finger, and those boys were right there. So,
I'm but and here's the thing, and I and I appreciate Jeff, who said it earlier. I'm just passionate. I don't know why this is. I don't know why I've been chosen to do this. Cindy tries to explain to me why I've been chosen to do this. Again, Chris, I don't know what you've been chosen to do, or Kate, or Cheryl. I don't know why we're chosen to do this, but it appears that there is a good core group of people, young and old. Bree is the youngest one of us. I don't know who's the oldest of us, but we've all come together and we've just decided that we're going to fight for justice, whatever our indifferences are. And that's what it's all about. It's about embracing all of us. None of us are better than the other. We all put our pants on the same way. I mean, one leg at a time. And we're going to have to all get through this. And honestly, we are all at fault. We all were sleeping at the wheel. Some of us made some bad choices in voting who we thought were good people at one time. And what we've realized is that the tentacles of Russ have gotten into all of them. And now it's just a complete, I don't know how else to put it, people, and I apologize in advance. You can cover your ears. It's a complete circle jerk. I don't know how else to say it.
Yeah.
So, it is what it is. There's so much we can talk about, and it is, Kate, it's a cluster.
Absolutely. It definitely is.
I'm hoping Tuesday night's going to be a big thing. I hope that people show up. I hope people are mad that $750,000 is in other services and charges. I hope people stand up there and go, what on earth is this? I hope that people, will be heard, will fill that room. It's going to be a packed room anyways, because the majority of it is going to be all these officials in there begging for their money, and they're going to get it. I'm telling you right now, it's all going to pass. Everybody, let me explain something to you. All of this is going to pass.
Yeah.
So, so we've got 2 big meetings coming up. We'll see how it goes. I will tell people I am changing gears on how I'm going to put it on live feed. So it will be coming through the political spotlight. We'll get used to it. It is a change. None of us like change, but we're going to do it. Change is inevitable. It just is. But growth is intentional. And that's what we're going to do, because clearly we have to grow this so that we can get national attention. That's what we need. And that's the only way we're going to go through this. Facebook is one way, but we've got to have all these other different feeders to make this happen. So just bear with me as we move through that. Cheryl will be there, so we'll see.
Absolutely. Well, and
Chris will be back at the ranch doing commentary.
I would like to try to come. I don't know, when is it?
It's on Tuesday. It's at 6, but it's okay, because you have to run the behind the scenes, because
14th. Yeah, that would be true. I need to get with you.
They don't understand. They need some commentary with it.
Yeah. I need to get with you sometime before Tuesday. We need to be in the same area at the same time, because I need to show you what needs to happen with the camera, but we'll make that happen.
Okay.
I can get with you Sunday or Monday or whenever. We'll make that happen. But well, we're getting close. It's about 2 hours in. Since we're going to be here tomorrow, is there anything else you want to hit on before we wind her down?
These were some of the big ones. Again, I encourage you people, You can check out my Facebook. People want to know, how can they help? Just share the posts.
Yeah.
Make the comments.
Share
just
these
like
links.
it.
Yeah.
Just like it to bump it. Whatever you got to do.
Yeah.
That's what we need to have happen.
Help spread the word. Share the show.
The one thing
I've
I want
seen several people on here. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah, go ahead.
I've seen several people on here say, like, we need to get more people on here. We need to make this bigger. I that would be fantastic. You know, how you do that is that's on you. We can talk about stuff. We can bring the stuff to you. We try to make it educational. We try to make it entertaining. We try to, you know, make it a little lighthearted and make it serious. You know, we try to throw as much in here as possible and make it as easy to digest as possible, because I know sometimes it can be boring. It can be a little in the weeds, but we try to make it as entertainment value as possible. But it really depends on you guys. If you guys do the things like hit the like, if you comment, all of that stuff feeds the algorithms. It helps push us in front of more eyes. If you will copy and paste and screenshot this, put this in the groups. Think about all the stupid bullshit we put on social media. I always tell this about people, about politicians and about politics. All the stupid bullshit that we share, we text each other, memes and pictures of cats and you know, all this nonsense. Imagine if you would take a minute just once a week or once a day and share a political post that you believed in, or shared a candidate that you supported, or shared a podcast of an episode that you liked. That's going to bring people to this that maybe haven't seen it, you know? And so that's the thing that I'd ask you to do. Please, please, please. We didn't say it at the beginning. I'm sure we've missed some people that are no longer here. As always, I will ask that you hit the bell that gets you notified. Subscribe if you haven't. I'm going to start saying, give us the thumb. You can give us the finger later, but if you give us the thumb now, we'd appreciate it. So you can do that. If you want to follow any of my stuff on social media, we're all right there. You can follow Katherine at Katherine Callahan on Facebook.
It's very simple.
Very simple. Katherine Callahan on Facebook. And the important thing I want everyone to know is this is not done. We will be here tomorrow night, same time, 9 p.m.
with all
for
new
more commentary. Yeah, we're not going to rehash this. We're going to talk about new shit.
Yeah, and so we've got a lot to talk about. I sent Kate how I kind of want to lead us into tomorrow night's show that we want to talk about.
Yeah.
I want to look at that post as what we're looking at.
Are we putting it up now? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Where is it at?
Kate's got it. Is she? This is where we're going to lead tomorrow. We're going to talk about the county council tomorrow. We're going to talk about each individual person. So we're going to talk a lot about that. We'll talk a little bit about the finance situation, but this is the U.S. Marshals. We have finally got their attention. We need to move this. You know, Chris and I broke this story about a month ago about the reward because it was before Christmas. It has never once made the front page of the Herald Bulletin.
Yeah,
but finally, the U.S. Marshals have done this. We're going to find Steve. Yeah. And that's the whole thing. So I want people to understand that, you know, we're getting somewhere. It's gotten a lot of movement. I don't know. The first day that it broke, within 36 hours, it had like 3,500 shares. So we appreciate it. I know Jamie's excited about it, that we're actually getting some places here, but hopefully we'll help everybody bring this home. We do want him alive, everyone. I just want all of you to know that. Yeah. So this is kind of where we're at. So I'm excited. So we'll talk about that tomorrow. So if any of you want to do homework on it, do that. Bring your questions. We want this to be interactive. We want to hear your questions. I don't care what the statement is. I mean, I don't care that he wants to nominate Brian Williams. I just can tell you what I feel about him.
Yeah, right.
You
right,
know,
right.
I mean, I'm glad you're here tonight, Jeff. So
Yeah.
I want Alva to have had a good birthday. I'm not the best singer, so I didn't sing for you tonight,
Alva did say that he was dropping out. He was going to go host some guests for a birthday party for him.
Oh, look at him. I'm so proud of him. Okay. So see, I didn't even see that.
He's not on right now, so you don't have to worry about doing that for him.
Okay, I'll quit kissing his ass.
Screw Alva.
Right?
I hope he doesn't have a good birthday.
So, but yeah, so I appreciate that you guys do turn in. And I want to tell people, while there's some of you that are very vocal on here and are not afraid to share your voice, there are a lot of people watching who are just quietly sitting on the sidelines, but believe me, they're watching.
Yeah.
So, you know, we get several thousand views on this. This will be good, and we'll keep everybody posted, and I'll try to see what I come up with. But now tomorrow we could always change gears because I don't know what's going to come out in the paper. I don't know what great article somebody's going to send me. And I had no idea the Herald Bulletin was altering votes. So the chances of me winning any of those areas are probably slim to none. But I say vote for me.
Always.
So, and we're going to go over the best of Madison County tomorrow night as well. There's some great things in there, and we'll see if they've deleted some of those things. I just want you to know, if you've already been voting in those sections, like they have the best accountant, it says the Lincoln Club. Are you kidding me? That's exactly who we're penalizing in the election board hearing. The Lincoln Club is the Republican GOP, Russ Willis. So he's not an accounting firm, people. They say the best fundraiser, Russ Willis. Well, yeah, because he's hiding all that money he's putting in there. We don't even know who's donating to him. So clearly the Herald Bulletin is not checking out if this is real or not before they put it on there.
Yeah.
And that's a problem.
Yeah.
So I'm so glad that that they didn't proofread some things I submit.
Yes.
But I predict that on Wednesday, Linda Smith and Lannon can't get out of their own way, and they hate the messenger so much that they'll cut off their nose to spite their face.
Yep, that's generally what happens.
And that's too bad, because no matter who the messenger is, you got to listen and you got to do the right thing. Yeah. So you're never going to get Sundays and rainbows and unicorns with me. You're just going to get Katherine.
Very good. Well, I appreciate it. Katherine, thank you very much. We will see you tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern, as always. So we will see you here in just a few moments there, Katherine. Stay by. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you for everything. This has been the Political Spotlight. I want to give a big shout out to producer Kate, who's been kicking ass and running things below down at the controls. Thank all of you for watching, all of you that watch this live, and everyone that's made it this far on replay or in the future. Thank you all too. We will be here for another very special episode on Saturday. We are normally here at 9 p.m. Eastern, 5 nights a week, Sunday through Thursday, and Fridays and Saturdays are our off days. However, this was a special one, so you got a whole lot of us all last week into this weekend and all next week. So I'm going to be dead tired by next weekend, but it's all for the best. It's all getting the information out, and we enjoy talking to you as always. Thank you all very much. Have a great rest of your evening. Have a wonderful Saturday. Be careful out there because we got a little bit of snow, and it's Indiana, and this has been like the first heavy snow that we've got in a while. So people are driving like idiots. So be careful. Be safe. Enjoy your weekend. Maybe get out and do some sledding with the kids or whatnot, and take care of yourselves. God bless each and every one of you. We will see you back here tomorrow night. Good night.